If you want to start sounding more attractive, soft, feminine, alluring, and just all things nice and calm, then this video is certainly for you because I'm about to share with you some practical tips on how you can evoke attention using the power of how you sound. Let's get right into it, shall we? Before we go into the video, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now will be a good time for you to join this level up community, especially if leveling up and being the very best version of yourself is of importance to you. So go right ahead right now and click the subscribe button and the bell just right beside it so you can get instantly notified whenever we upload a new video. Now to the topic of today. I'm sure that you're here. If you're watching this video, it must mean that you have signified interest in learning how to be or how to sound more attractive, feminine, and soft. I tell you that there's everything to gain and absolutely nothing to lose when you start to sound softer, calmer, more feminine, and just take your time in expressing your thoughts, your emotions, your ideas, your feelings, and everything that comes with life. Truth be told, the women who have mastered the art of articulating their thoughts and expressing themselves in a calm, soft, and feminine manner are the ones who usually grab attention very fast. So without further ado, let me just share with you all of the tips that I know that I used to start sounding more attractive. And the very first one is practice mindfulness by being constantly conscious of the tone of your voice when you are displaying different emotions. At different times in our lives, we all display different emotions. Sometimes we're angry, sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are sad, sometimes we're surprised. And believe it or not, the emotions you feel at a particular time has a way of expressing itself in the tone of your voice. When you are angry, how do you sound? When you are happy, do you get carried away and how do you sound? When you are sad, how do you sound? Whether you are in an angry state or a happy state, you can still be very mindful of the tone of your voice. For example, if you're angry, you can still be mindful of how you speak by ensuring that you are firm in what you're saying, but you are not overly loud. So going forward, practice mindfulness. Bring some attention to how you speak, how you say the things that you say when you are feeling or experiencing different emotions. And then if you find that when you're angry, for example, you are overly brash and overly harsh with the way you're expressing yourself, stop yourself immediately and then correct yourself and learn to say the things you want to say in that state in a very firm manner, but still show some softness and calmness to the way that your tone of voice is, okay? And the second practical tip that I have put down here is you need to work on your diction. And your diction includes your word pronunciation. It also has a lot to do with the tone of your voice, the clarity of your speech, and how you just pretty much articulate your words and put them together to form sentences that are understandable to the people you are communicating with. So you need to start paying attention to your diction. First of all, start by acquiring new words. Start by increasing or improving your word bank. Currently, you may have only 50 beautiful words that you use to express yourself. Can you set a goal for yourself and say that you would increase your word bank to 100 before the end of the month? Can you say you want to increase your word bank to 150 before the end of the month? It's actually very possible, and you just have to be very intentional on how you go about it. Acquiring the words is one thing. How you pronounce the words is very important because that is also very attention grabbing as well. And that actually showcases you as a very attractive person who knows what she's about. I always say, for example, if you want to express yourself in the English language, find out how the words that you want to express yourself in are pronounced in the English language. For those of us who live in Nigeria, the English language is not our primary language. So if we want to express ourselves in the English language, yes, I know people always say there's such a thing as a Nigerian English. I'm like, well, we're not originators of English, so we can't acquire English and say there's a Nigerian English. So find out how the different words are pronounced and pronounce them correctly. We have a course in this community called The Art of Speaking Eloquently and Elegantly course. And in that course, I went in depth on pronunciations of different English words, like the most common ones. The course is very rich and it teaches you so much, especially if you want to master the art of speaking eloquently and elegantly. We have about 6 different modules in the course, and each module went in depth in just explaining different concepts that can help you express your thoughts, feelings, ideas in your personal, social, and professional life in a very articulate and effective manner. So click the link in the description box down below to get more information about the course and how you can access it as well. But after acquiring new words, learn how to pronounce these words. So for example, if your new word is cucumber, instead of cucumber is the way you pronounce it in Nigerian English, but the right way to pronounce it according to the people who originated it is cucumber. So find out how to pronounce these words and then put it into practice, into your everyday use. And like I said in the first point, the tone of your speech matters. The tone of your voice when you're communicating what you're communicating is as important as what you're communicating. So watch the tone of your voice and the clarity in your speech. In fact, all of these things under diction are things that we went in depth in the art of speaking eloquently and elegantly course. So I'd advise that if you want to improve the way you speak, just go get that course right now and you will see more of what I'm talking about in this point. This leads me to the third point, which is when you find yourself speaking in a bashful or harsh tone, immediately correct yourself and bring your tone to a calm and a measured pace. Life happens sometimes, especially when you did not grow up speaking softly and calmly, and then you're just trying to now change the way that you speak so that you are more calm and soft. Sometimes life will get in the way and make you lose guard, but it's also your responsibility to ensure that you are bringing awareness to things per time. And immediately you notice that you're speaking in a harsh or a brash tone, just collect yourself and pause, then start again. This is all still under being mindful and being aware of how you sound. Okay, the next point that I put down here is put a premium on your words. When you put a premium on your words, it would allow you to be very intentional and purposeful in everything that you say. You won't just open your mouth and start blurting out things from your mouth. And remember, what you say and the words that come out of your mouth, or your choice of words in quotes, says a lot about you. It tells a person who you are and what category they should put you in. So imagine if you're big on using profane language or using swear words, it just lets a person know that you're very ratchet or raz, like I like to say. So it's important that every time you speak with a sense of purpose. That automatically makes you just look very attractive. And of course, when you're saying what you're saying, remember to also be very mindful of the tone in which you're communicating what you're saying to, okay? The next point I put down here is before you respond to any situation, pause for at most 10 seconds. And in that time, start an internal dialogue within yourself by saying something like, girl, you need to slow down. You are not going to rush through this. You are not going to fight your way through it. You're going to slow down and you're going to respond regardless of the situation. Sometimes it can be an aggravating situation. Sometimes it can even just be you being overly excited. Regardless of what situation is, just pause for 10 seconds and just begin an internal dialogue in your head, and that just puts you in a calm state and puts you in the power position so that you are not in a hurry to dish out whatever response that you have to give based on the situation. That 10 seconds dialogue is actually a game changer. It's something that helped me in my personal life as well. So try it out sometime, okay? This next point, very important. You have to learn to pace out your words when you speak and trust yourself that you would remember everything you want to say. Trust that you remember all of your points. Sometimes people speak very quickly because they're trying to just bring out everything in their head so that they don't forget. What I find that happens in that instance is because you're trying to be very quick, that's when you might even forget. But when you take your time, pace your words, collect your thoughts, and then trust yourself. Trust the mind that you have, that you will not forget. I promise you, your delivery will be a whole lot better, and the person who you are communicating to would actually understand you a whole lot better when you have articulately expressed yourself. But when you're all over the place in a hurry, you can just jumble the whole story, and then your story won't have a beginning, the middle, and then the end. You're probably saying the end at the beginning and the beginning at the end, and that just confuses the people who are listening to you. So learn to pace your words and trust yourself that you will not forget what you're trying to say, okay? And this next one is for my loud-voiced girly. Now, if you notice that you have a loud voice, sometimes some people naturally have a loud voice, and sometimes in certain settings, that loud voice is not the appropriate tone or tempo of voice to have. And I've been in a place where someone with a loud voice came into the room. The room was just so freaking quiet, and everyone was just quiet and peaceful. And then she comes in, and just her hello, good morning to everyone sounded like she was addressing a crowd. That's how loud her voice was. Of course, it's not a bad thing, but it just felt very awkward having her shout like that, like she has microphone in her hands. And I have a friend, a guy, who actually has a very loud voice, and he says his father tells him that he sounds like someone who has swallowed a microphone. So it's not a bad thing. There's nothing to shade. There's nothing to be embarrassed about if you have a loud voice. But it would be nice for you to be aware of the different settings that you find yourself in, so that you are not overly loud when you're just trying to communicate simple things in a very quiet setting. The next point that I put down here is you have to practice speaking softly and calmly to yourself and those around you. Do it as much as possible, because always, you already know this, practice makes perfect. Try speaking calmly. Have a conversation with yourself. You can even take it a step further and just turn on your mobile phone, open the video, and then just set the camera to yourself and then start talking to the camera and hear how you talk. Hear what you sound like. If you don't want to put your face in it, you can just use the audio recording and record just your audio and hear how you sound. Ask yourself, do you like the way you sound? If it was someone else sounding that way, would you look at the person funny, or would you be okay with the person? So practice speaking softly. And of course, if you find that you sound harshful, brashful, some people's tone of voice is hard. It's so hard, like no matter how hard they try. But you can actually practice to start speaking softly and calmly, and you can start with yourself. Then if you have friends, start with them. So when you get on a phone conversation with a friend, bring awareness to that conversation. And instead of just being blah, 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 all over the place, like screaming and shouting in their heads, you just be calm, take your time, do your thing, and let them even ask you, wait, are you trying to romance me over the phone? Yeah, it's happened to me a couple of times. So just be very mindful of how you sound by practicing speaking calmly and softly with yourself and others as well. Next one is this one works like a charm. Use your bedroom voice. In instances where everything else has failed, you see, everyone has a bedroom voice, or that voice, not that voice you use when there's one man tingling your heart somewhere and you have to sound all like, you guys know, there's one, you have a crushing on you, and then you guys, when you have the conversation, hey you, have you had something to eat today? Mochi's here giving me the side eye. You know that voice now, that early morning bedroom voice, like you just are very calm and gentle. In cases where everything else has failed, just bring out that voice and sound like that. That voice comes in very handy, yeah? When you want to ask for something from, not even just your partner, from people. Just reduce it, bring it down many notches, and just add some spice and life to it. Which now brings me to my next point. Spice up the way you speak. See, don't speak in a monotonous manner. There's some people that have their voice, the way they speak is just very monotonous. Like the tempo of the voice is one way, there is no spice. So spice means sometimes your voice rises, sometimes your voice falls, sometimes you whisper, sometimes you are using your gesticulation to add spice to what you're saying. So I'll give an example. If I want to say, Benedicta, how are you today? I saw you at the market and you didn't look very good. That's me sounding monotonous. That's absolutely boring. As opposed to me saying, hi, Benedicta, how are you today? I saw you at the market and you looked so beautiful. Did you see the difference in that? Who do you think they will listen to? Or who do you think will look more attractive? Of course, the one who added spice, using the fall and the right. If you purchase the Art of Speaking Eloquently and Elegantly course, all of these things are in there. How to not sound monotonous, how to add spice by using the rising and the font. Everything is right in the course. So just click the link in the description box down below to access the course, get more information about it, and you start using that course, because I promise you, after going through the course, you definitely will start sounding more elegant and more eloquent. So spice up the way that you speak. Don't be monotonous. You can also practice. Someone once told me, Winnie, I can listen to you talk for hours because you have a way of just captivating me with the way you say the things that you say and all of your hand gesticulations, even though I know that sometimes it's not very elegant. Like some people will say to gesticulate with the hands a lot when you're talking. But I've come to embrace it because these hands just have to keep going up. I don't know, they just like staying up. So I use my hands to talk a lot, even though I try my best to suppress it. But I still use them to talk. And I find that it also adds life and adds spice to the things that I'm saying. So what I'm just pretty much saying with this point is add spice to your speech. Don't be monotonous in your conversation. Don't be boring. Spice things up. Spice up every sentence. Spice up every, start spicing your words up, okay? And the last point that I have here on my list is do not use excessive filler words. Excessive filler words will water down the things that you're saying. Words like all those things that you can't, I just said one. Those filler things that you use to maybe articulate your thoughts or collect your thoughts or try to remember what you're trying to say. Try as much as possible to bring those things to the barest minimum. In fact, if possible, don't use them at all. And that's why it's important that you pace your words. Stop rushing. Stop being in a hurry to communicate what you want to communicate. Unless maybe you're a very fast talker and you can't help yourself. And you find that when you talk fast, you still don't need to use filler words. Then maybe that's okay. But if you use a lot of filler words like as in, do you get, all those things that just make your what you're saying just look somehow, look tacky. Dish them, throw them aside and start pacing your words. And I think it will make you sound a whole lot better, a lot attractive and more feminine. That's pretty much all I have for you for today's episode. If there is anything that you take away, the most important thing is for you to remember to bring awareness to the way that you speak. You can change the way you speak if you don't like it. And the very first thing you need to do is just bring awareness to it. By the time you bring awareness to it, anytime it happens, correct yourself immediately when you find yourself saying or sounding in a way that you would rather not sound. But most importantly, I would advise that through the process, remain authentically you. Don't try to force something that's not coming to you, maybe not naturally, but easily. That's not coming to you easily. If it's not coming to you easily, sound the way you sound. As long as people can understand what you're saying, then just brush up on it as much as it's within your power. The point I'm trying to make is don't overly stress about it if it's not coming to you naturally. Just accept it and brush up on it as much as you can and leave the rest to God and His pretty universe. Okay? All right, family. I'll see you again with another episode. Until then, remember to stay very, very elegant.